risk areas across the country. More donations pour in to fight coronavirus in Nigeria, with federal permanent secretaries leading the day. Updating COVID-19 pandemic, Burundi records first case as Ghana celebrates mass recoveries from the virus. Let's bring you an update of the COVID-19. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the release of 70,000 metric tons of grains from the National Reserve for distribution to the poor and vulnerable. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation stated this during a daily briefing by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. President Buhari has approved exemption of seaport workers from the lockdown in affected states, noting that exemption of an agency does not cover all staff, but strictly the essential staff. The Presidential Task Force has also developed implementation guidelines and protocols for the COVID-19 lockdown policy, documents to be widely circulated to all security agencies. However, the Ministry of Health gave update on COVID-19 as at 1st April 2020. He emphasized the adherence to the safety order, which include regular hand washing with soap and water, use of alcohol-based sanitizer, maintenance of 2-meter social distance, among others. In keeping with its strategy of disinfecting and decontaminating high-risk areas of the country against COVID-19 spread, the Federal Ministry of Environment has co-opted personnel of the Federal Fire Service into the exercise. Onenge Fine Affairs reports that training for firemen was part of the official flag-off of the decontamination exercise.
As part of measures to contain further spread of COVID-19, the federal government is decontaminating and disinfecting high-risk areas across the country. The exercise is carried out by the Department of Pollution Control and Environmental Health of the Ministry of Environment, as well as environmental health officers.
This chemical is not a new chemical. It has been used in decontamination even in our hospitals, our health facilities, and it is also applicable in the isolation camps and in the quarantine station.
Way of protecting himself.
Now, to optimize the impact of the exercise, personnel of the Federal Fire Service are being trained to also carry out decontamination against COVID-19.
So we are calling on all the people to stay away. Anywhere you see fumigation going on, decontamination, please keep your distance. Chemicals have a lifespan. After fumigation, after a number of either hours or days, the potency has gone way down and may not be that harmful. So, but during the fumigation exercise, stay away.
We have what it takes to carry out this exercise. We are collaborating with the Ministry of Environment. They are giving us the PPE, which is personal protective equipment. They are giving us the chemical. We have our fire trucks. Each of these trucks carries 6,000 liters of water, and it has 3 discharge outlets. So it depends on where we are. Then we now know which of the discharge outlet we are going to use.
So far, some federal parastatals, including the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA National Headquarters in Abuja, have been decontaminated. The exercise will extend to schools, to markets and other densely populated areas in the country. In Abuja, Onenge Fine Face, NTA News.
Many thanks, Onenge. And still on the disinfection, Lagos State Government will cover 80% of the metropolis in its ongoing disinfection exercise throughout the 14 days lockdown to curb further spread of coronavirus. Lagos State Commissioner for Home Affairs, Larewaju Elegushi, said this strategy is aimed at preventing the emergence of new cases. Let's hear from Abolade Salami.
Case of COVID-19 in Lagos, the state government has embarked on a series of measures to curb the spread of the virus. Prominent among steps taken is the disinfection exercise of major bus stops, public gathering arena, major streets, and highly populated areas. The exercise, which is aimed at protecting lives of the citizenry against contracting the virus, will also ensure a cleaner environment.
We've started this even before we started having confirmed figures. So, but we believe it's a continuous exercise, and we are moving on. We hope to cover the whole of Lagos.
The disinfection exercise with no adverse effect on human health remains one of the means to kill the virus.
Basically, what we're using is sodium hypochlorite, which is just like your domestic bleach, just a little bit a higher concentration. So it's, everybody uses this in their house. What we can do as custodian of the environment is to take care of all the railings and all of that as Mr. Governor has directed.
Be an ambassador to tell people that this is a war. We're fighting an invisible enemy. The enemy that does not know the rich, the poor, color or whatever. And that's why I'm outside.
This disinfection exercise continues. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
We're now being joined by Dr. Andy Uka, the Director of Registration, Ethics, Standard and Enforcement and Environmental Health Officers Registration Council of Nigeria, who will talk to us more about this disinfection exercise that has just been flagged off. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Uka.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, following the flag off of the disinfection across states, where will be the areas of concerns? Is it just going to be public places generally, or what does it entail?
Actually, this flag off, which is a climax of the discussions engaged by our Honorable Minister, Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar, Doctor, and the Minister of Interior, Ruaf Alubosola, and through the Controller General of Fire Service, Service of Nigeria. Today we flag it off, the minister flag it off because we want to concentrate on the federal facilities for now. We have been able today to cover the O Secretariat, Area 1, all the federal ministries in O Secretariat, we cover it today, and the new Secretariat, okay. We cover everything about that, the phase 1, the phase 2, and the phase 3. That is head of service and order of them. Then we also cover the AGF. It will be a continuous exercise for at least the 2 weeks of lockdown.
Okay, so it's going to be in batches. What about markets? And if you're going to markets, have you done enough sensitization because of the wares of people? After this disinfection, people will want to go and sell these food items to people. So people don't get to eat contaminated foods. How much sensitization is carried out in markets? Because during this lockdown, we know some markets are open.
Yes, since Monday, we have been able to send our men to all those areas. The markets, all the markets in Abuja here, and even yesterday they were there trying to sensitize people, trying to educate them, and not only that, we have been talking to them through the federal radio, and just like we are saying now, we have also informed them the danger of leaving their food items open. We have informed them that they should package it well, and never expose it, because there's no chemical that is just as simple or totally friendly.
Okay, it doesn't affect the food items. That's what you're saying.
It should affect the food items if exposed. So we have informed them to package their food and put them in correct places where the chemical cannot touch.
Okay, so after this flag off of disinfecting such areas, is it going to be a continuous process, or is it just going to be during this lockdown?
Actually,
how often?
This is an intervention program or exercise. It will not continue like that, but we are trying to see the magnitude of the COVID-19. If it keep on going down, then we can take it to be for that lockdown, because you cannot do such a thing if people are in town doing their business. But that's why we say through this lockdown, where people are not in the offices and other places, we can do it conveniently. But if after the lockdown expiration, we are going to embark on what we call terminal disinfestation terminal disinfection.
Okay,
because
what does that
disinfestation is just like pest control. We are not doing pest control, but what we are doing is decontamination, attacking the microorganism. Okay. And the disinfection. What you want, like what I mean by terminal decontamination is if there is any case or somebody dies, so we have to be invited to go there and decontaminate that place. And that is why we say that in case like this, where we have infectious disease outbreak, the major thing we have to embark is terminal decontamination. Okay, Dr. Uka, final question here. Now, we know that people move around streets. After this lockdown, from what you're saying, the process will continue. Now, are streets on your list of disinfection? And also, what should people know regarding this disinfection? What should Nigerians keep in mind when this exercise is going on? Okay, the people should know that we are trying to help the people by making the environment free from the causative agents of this COVID-19 and other microorganisms that can cause diseases. And now another problem we will have is, God forbid, we start having deaths from this. So another area that we are going to look into is how to control the corpse from the preparation of the body. If someone dies out of this infection, then the preparation of the body, the transportation of the body to the burial site, and the decontamination of the body of the site is very, very important. Also, people should also help us to do this, because sometimes you go to places where you want to decontaminate, you see that people don't allow you, they want you to pass through series of protocols and other ways. That's why sensitization is necessary. Yeah, we have been doing that, but you know that no matter how much sensitization you have done, people will still give excuses. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Andy Uka. Thank you. We hope to come out of this stronger. Yeah. All right. If we recall, in his broadcast to the nation on Sunday, March 29, 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari declared that in Nigeria's fight against COVID-19, there is no such thing as an overreaction or underreaction. It is all about the right reaction by the right agencies and trained experts. A statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, recalls that a month before the first case of coronavirus in Nigeria, the federal government assured citizens of the country's readiness to strengthen surveillance at 5 international airports in the country to prevent the spread of coronavirus. The government announced the airports as Enugu, Lagos, Rivers, Kano, and the FCT. After reporting the first case on February 27, Nigeria's Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, announced that 60 persons who had contact with the index Italian patient were under isolation, 40 in Ogun State and 20 in Lagos State. This was followed on March 9 by the inauguration of a presidential task force for the control of the virus in the country. The task force will later announce that travelers from 13 countries would no longer be allowed to enter Nigeria until the coronavirus pandemic was over. To date, the federal government and relevant agencies continue to demonstrate a high sense of responsibility and awareness, which has positioned the country to effectively tackle the menace. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back shortly, so stay tuned.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
With us, the lockdown has virtually affected activities in the FCT as people stay at home in compliance with the President's directive. State House correspondent Jide Onifade is at the presidential villa, who is ready to tell us if it's a total lockdown there too. Jide.
Thank you, Studio. Well, we cannot all go to bed at the same time. And among those still keeping watch apart from the president is Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The office here has always been a beehive of activities. And what the lockdown has done is to slow down human traffic to the office. But the Vice President is still working, leveraging on the power of technology. For his meetings, the Vice President now employs the use of video conferencing. He still monitors what goes on around the country, interacting with state governors to be sure that they are on top of the coronavirus pandemic and that the people are not too burdened by the lockdown.
As you can see, the presidency is still very much open. And of course, the Vice President is working right now in his office. He has just concluded a video conference call with about 7 governors and the finance minister, the director of budget, about the special committee on this response to COVID-19 that was set up by the National Economic Council. So the meeting was conducted through video conferencing, and that is how quite a lot of his activities are being conducted in the light of what is happening in the country. So yes, the Vice President is still very busy, holding an effort to ensure that Nigerians are properly taken care of, and that the directives of the President to ensure that all the implications of the shutdown are being properly taken care of. Palliatives are in place, how to get it done, how to reposition the economy. So there's a lot of work to be done, and as you know, the Vice President manages to keep busy every time.
Remember that the President just instituted an Economic Sustainability Committee, which the Vice President is heading. Meetings are still held using video conferencing. Well, the coronavirus may be slowing things down, but not the will of the people who are committed towards moving the country forward. Back to you in the studio.
Many thanks, Jide, and it's all about complying, right? But let's join Mia Ogidi at Area 2 Shopping Center, Garki, here in Abuja, for an update on the compliance to the lockdown in the FCT. Mia, what is the situation at the center and the vicinity at the moment? There are rumors that non-essential persons roam the streets at night, especially in this area. Are you privy to this development, Mia?
All right, thank you very much. 151 confirmed cases and 2 deaths. There are quite enough reasons to keep one at home. And the essence of the presidential directive on locking down the Federal Capital Territory and 2 additional states is to curtail the chain of transmission of the virus. We are here at the Area 2 Shopping Center at the central area of the Abuja, the FCT. And from the NTA headquarters to this place is a 4.2 kilometers drive. But it's quite unfortunate that we had a free ride from NTA to this particular spot without any check from the security. That shows some level of porousness, I may say. But when you look at me behind you, the market is open. No, it's in line with the directive. Eatables have been sold, and vehicles are having a free ride, as you can see this one passing. The number of vehicles applying this place and the ones parked put some level of question. Are all essential workers? It's quite explanatory that some non-essential workers are taking undue advantage of the situation. If you just take a look, vehicle, this particular one, these are just a few out of the many we have experienced here. It's quite unfortunate to even tell you that as we have stayed there for like 30 minutes, some taxi drivers are even awning for us to probably know whether we are passengers. So that is the level of some level of non-compliance at this moment at the central area, especially at Garuki to Area 1 to Area 2 shopping center area of the Federal Capital Territory.
Yeah, Mia, you know, that was the same question that came to my mind this morning. I saw more cars compared to yesterday. You know, yesterday we had less vehicles on the road, and today, from what you're showing us now, you know, more vehicles are out there. But did you try talking to some of the persons who are out there? Are they non-essential workers or the essential workers who are out of work for the day?
Yes, that is the essence of my coming here quite early enough. I've stayed there for like 50 minutes, and I disguised myself as someone that wants to also buy something, and I have interaction with some people, and they were glad and proudly telling me that this is the only time they can come out and get some things for themselves, especially heatables. So that is the situation. Quite obvious, they are not all essential workers. Non-essential workers are taking undue advantage of the situation right now at the central area of the Federal Capital Territory, which is quite not in agreement with the spirit of the directive.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mia. We do appreciate your contribution from Area 2 Shopping Center there. But let's also join one of our correspondents, Hamman Jabani in Lugbe, to give us an update on the lockdown in the FCT. Hamman, how is the compliance to the lockdown order, given the rumors that a lot of people seem defiant? The telephone, but let's look at all the issues. The National Youth Service Corps says its orientation camps across the country are ready for use as isolation centers as the nation continues to combat the spread of coronavirus pandemic. Director General NYSC Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim stated this in Abuja during an inspection of camp facilities at NYSC camp in Kubwa. Olainka Ojo reports.
Due to the ravaging global effect of coronavirus, the NYSC on the 18th of March suspended its 3-week orientation course 8 days after it commenced, a decision that got a nod from most youth corps members.
It's for our safety, because we are meant to believe that safety comes first no matter what.
The move that the government does take now, it is right for them to leave us to lift the camp.
With the gradual increase in the number of infected cases of coronavirus in Nigeria, the Director General NYSC, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, inspected some structures at the NYSC FCT orientation camp in readiness for use as an isolation center to fight the pandemic.
It's an indication of the government concern for the welfare of Nigerians, and if NYSC camps are made available, we will have to comply and be on standby to that effect, and that's why I came to FCT camp to check the readiness of the camp.
On the lockdown order by the federal government, the DGNYC says
the corps members should be very careful. They should adhere strictly to government directives and also monitor our social media.
While reiterating the scheme's commitment towards ensuring the welfare, safety and security of youth corps members, the NYSC boss says before any orientation takes place in any camp, it will be fumigated. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
All right, thank you very much, Olainka. Let's rejoin our correspondent, Hamman Jabani, via telephone. He is presently at Lugbe, checking out the lockdown situation there, if people are complying. Hamman, what is the situation there, if you can hear me?
Good evening, Ruth. Right now, I'm at Lugbe Fair Housing, just by the corner shop. It is surprising to see what is going on here, the kind of business and social activities taking place. You will not even know that there is any lockdown put in place by the federal government. You can pick anything that you need. You can see bike riders dropping and picking their passengers. You know, everything is just moving as if nothing is at stake. And the most disturbing aspect of the whole issue is that people are not even observing the social distance, despite the fact that they are even supposed to stay at home. And then some people that I interviewed earlier, they said that, like one of them said, it is better for him to go out and die of coronavirus than to stay at home and die with his children. And one other person that I spoke earlier said the federal government should have put in place measures or inform the public about the coming up of the lockdown before imposing the 14 days lockdown.
Okay,
Haman, they have
Haman,
to
let me
go
hold you
out now and source for daily income before they can feed their families.
Okay, Haman, from what you just ended with, that's what I wanted to ask. Do you think people are coming out because of the crave, to want to get one or two items for themselves, from your interaction with some of them?
Well, I can't get you clearly, but the issue here is that most of the the things that people are buying here, the prices have even gone up about 100% increase. And then they said no matter what, they will continue coming out and even to pick what they can pick. And even the store owners are saying that as long as they can sell, no matter how late it is in the night, they will definitely come out and sell because customers are coming out, and you cannot even see where to even park because of the number of people coming out to do one thing or the other. Some people are even strolling, not really doing anything or picking anything. You'll see them strolling with their friends, talking, holding hands, and all that. And that is not what should be.
All right, thank you very much, Haman. We do appreciate your contribution from that end.
Thank you,
Our correspondent there giving us situation at Lugbe Federal Housing on the level of compliance there. But let's look at global updates, and Adebola Brookslyn Sunday will guide us.
Hello and thanks for joining me. Records from the World Meter shows that over 889,000 cases of coronavirus have been recorded across the globe, out of which over 34,000 have died, while over 188,000 have recovered. The meter also shows that out of 656,195 who are currently infected, 622,007 are in mild condition, while 34,531 are in serious or critical condition. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has described the coronavirus pandemic as the most challenging crisis since World War II. In Africa, there are currently over 5,856 confirmed cases, 201 deaths, 430 recoveries spread across 49 countries, leaving only 5 countries free of the virus after Burundi recorded its first case. To this end, the Director General of the West African Health Organization, WAHU, Professor Stanley Okolo, in an online press conference on the virus, provided an update on what the organization and ECOWAS are doing to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the region. WAHU, he disclosed, has distributed over 30,000 diagnostic test kits to the 15 ECOWAS member states and is also currently distributing 50,000 specimen transportation kits, 10,000 personnel protection equipment, and some medications to member countries. And in Europe, the coronavirus death toll in the UK rose by 563 in the last 24 hours, a record jump that brought the number of patients who died in hospital to 2,300.
Thanks, Adebola Brookslyn Sunday. That's the much we can take on the news. We do appreciate your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.
Bringing the total number.